What's up, Roulette Fools? Brent with AOB. Okay, session number 46. We had a little bit of a rough day. We ended down almost $40 yesterday, but that's okay. We came right back. We have $645.91. I'm giving myself a balance of $125. I got a $25 bet on here right now, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. And we just won. So similar to what we did last session, I was playing on the outside, waiting on the top. Waiting for the inside bets of double streets and such, that if it had 2 dozens in a row and stuff like that. So then we would bet based on that trigger. So what I'm going to do today, though, is a little bit different. And this is just for experimental purposes. I'm going to wait for a dozen to hit twice in a row. Okay. It doesn't matter which numbers. And then these paired double streets, 1, 4, that's a paired double street, 7, 10, right? Each dozen will have these paired double streets in this order. Whatever the last number hit, when it hits 2 in a row or more, if I miss it, I will cover that street, that double street, and leave the other double street open. So as you see down here, we hit, well, it's up there now for you guys. I overlaid it. It hit 2 11s in a row. So I covered the 7 through 10, and then I covered the rest of these double streets this way, and we won. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm not going to record continuously because that would take forever. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to leave my graph open. And as soon as it hits 2, I'll unpause it. We'll do a bet. There won't be as much talking, but we don't have to wait here. Look at that, 3, 2. So same dozen. So we're going to rebet because we had to. It was the same thing last time. And we're going to slide this over here. Now, here's the purpose of the $125 bet. I'm giving myself 2 bullets. The main one for 25. If I lose this one, I'm going to 3x it to 75, right? That'll be 75 plus 25. That's 100. I have 25 left over. I probably won't do anything with it, but if I do want to do something with that little 25 left over, I will. But for the most part, I'm giving myself 2 bullets. All right, there's another win. And what I'm going to do here after I hang up with you guys here, pause it, I'm going to write down the results, because even though I've been watching and looking at different servers to see how this goes, and so far it's actually been pretty good, statistically, I think it doesn't make any difference. You guys know me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that every time I did make a bet, I'm going to leave the 1, 4 open. And at the end of today's sessions, I'm going to compare what the win-loss record was if we just left 1, 4 open versus us doing this thing where we're hopping around. Okay, but while I got you here, we can go again. The third doesn't hit this time. So 1, 2, 3. The last one was 33, so we're going to cover that double street, and then we're going to cover this double street, and we're going to leave the 25 through 30 open. So again, I'm going to write down the results and see how it goes. And whenever we do lose, I'm going to 3x the bet. I'll need to win twice. And again, we will wait. If I lose, like right now, let's say it hits 25, 30, I'm not going to go, okay, well, that hit that third dozen several times. We're going to keep going. We're not going to keep going. I'm going to wait till that dozen clears out. Once it either it goes somewhere else and comes back, or hits another dozen twice, then we'll go in with our 3x bet, and we'll wait 1 and then 2 to try to recover. Making sense? Clear as mud? Yeah, I probably didn't explain it to Grace, but that's the plan of what we're going to do. Let's see how it works out. So I'll wait till we get another dozen hit twice, and then we'll come back and do another bet. Cheers. Okay, we are back. It hit a 23, then an 18. So we're going to cover the 23. 1, 2, 3. Cover the 23. No, this is going to come down here. 1, 2. And, oh, man. I screwed that up, didn't I? I screwed that up. We were supposed to cover the 23, and then we needed to cover that side and that side. I'm focused on covering low and high. So we're losing that. We just lost our profit because I'm so used to covering on the French table the low and high. If we're going to leave the 13 through 18 open, I need to put 3 units on the high, and then I would have covered these 2. So there we go. There's an error that just wiped out $15 of profit. It's all on me. So I'll be back as soon as we get a double tap. Okay, we're back for a second chance at this. So it's 23 and 20. So 1, 2, 3 there. And we'll cover these 2 like we were supposed to. And let's see what happens. So you can see down here, 2023. So again, so far recording the results, if we were to leave the 1-4 open, the first number was 27, 26, 14, 18, or 8. Those were the first 4 results. So we would have won all 4 of those anyway if we were just leaving the 1-4 open. So this is going to be interesting as we go through here to see what's going to happen. So there's a nice win. So again, the idea on the triggers versus just doing something, you guys know how I feel about tracking tools. And if you use them, awesome. You always use what's working for you. I'm not a big proponent of that, but we have some members in our Discord that are having a lot of success. Again, I think of a lot of that is somewhat in our head and it just depends on the session. So I'll be interested to see what our win-loss ratio is. Had I not misbet that last one, we would be winning. We would have 5-0 right now, as well as 5-0 if we leave the 1-4 open. Okay, let's see what this one is, 16. So I'll be back with the next bet. Okay, we're back. It hit 2 9s in a row. So we're going to cover that double street that 9's on and the other dozen. Here we go. So since we're not going for time, and I think because these are all compressed, not as much time in between, we're just going to go by spins. And I'm guessing per session, just depends. We won't have 15-minute increment sessions. So I'm just going to go off a number of spins and just kind of, there we go. We got a whack. Okay. So we would have lost whether we covered 1-4 or we did it this method. So now we got to wait for a different dozen for it to get out of that first dozen. We're going to wait for it to hit a dozen somewhere else. If it goes somewhere else and comes back, we can go, but we're not going to touch the first dozen. And then we're going to 3x our bet and see if we can get out of this. Okay, cross our fingers. And we're back already. You can see down here, it hit 25 and 33. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to cover this one and this one, double it. 1, 2, 3. Man, I screwed up, didn't I? Totally screwed up. I'm a hot mess. I'm a hot mess. Darn it. Well, let's see what would have happened if I had covered the 31 through 30. I don't even know where I messed. I swear some of these tables, I do click 3 units up there. I feel like it doesn't always take or whatever for some reason. We would have won. We would have won there. Dang, burn it, one of our things. So we'll wait for another dozen to come back and we'll hit it. Okay, we are back. It hit the third dozen again. So we have redemption here and double it and add one here and add one here. Now, had I set up the first bet correctly the first time, we would have won 1. This would be our second one to recover. We'll see what happens. And I'm doing 3x twice, which recovers us plus goes up 1 base unit, which would be $5 in this case. So let's see if we can recover. We do. So that's the good thing. And I will save a base bet here on high and low so that I don't have to worry about clicking so many times, especially when we do a 3x. I'll be able to do a 3x much quicker. So, okay. And just a little bit of a heads up on a couple things. One, I think most of you already know, website, I had a shady developer. He did some shady shit and was basically, after I paid him and whatever, he basically had some code in the code that enabled him to mess up the website and basically ransomed me to be able to fix it. And I said no. So the tools portion is not available right now. I'm working on some ideas, but I'm really not hot to spend more money to go. It took quite a while for me working with multiple developers to get that all together and money. So I don't know what it's going to be. The other thing is on our life goal here to get away from the 9 to 5 and at least have good supplemental income here, or whatever your total goal is. My hope is that you'll get to a point where this can be it for you. I will be covering a range of things, everything from how to get set up, how to do your taxes, tools that you can use to manage your taxes with crypto, because when you're buying and selling a lot of crypto, especially, that can be a problem. There's some plug-in tools that you can use. I'll be showing you those. I'm not going to be telling you how to cheat on your taxes. I'm not going to tell you how to evade your taxes. I will tell you some tips and tricks on how to minimize the impact of your capital gains and whatnot, but I'm not here to show you how to cheat, okay? Anyway, so I'll be back on the next spin. I'm glad we won that. We have one more to go, and then we'll be caught up. All right, cheers. Okay, here we are. We are back, and it hit 30 twice. So we're going to move this one over to 30 and cover the last one that hit in this dozen. But you can see here we hit 30, 30. So, okay, let's see if we can catch up or if we flamed out for the day. Because if I lose on this one, our total recording time's only been 10 minutes. So this could end up being a very, very short video because I'll be done for this session. We'll take our loss, which will be, at this point, an $80 loss. We'll take the loss and call it quits. We're not going to chase it beyond this. So let's see what happens. There we go. Boom. And luckily we covered on this happenstance. We covered the last one to hit. So that was good. All right. Now we're cooking with oil. Now we're back up to almost where we were at $15 up before I screwed up. I screwed up twice now. All right. Cheers. We're back already. She hit the 25, 26. So we're going to cover that again. Look at that. Look at that string of 26, 25, 30, 30. So we didn't have to wait long for two more repeaters here for us to win. And for those of you that are wondering, so far, we would be out of 8 hits, we would have the same 7 and 1 if we were only covering the 1-4 double street. So that's pretty good. And there's another win right there. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. You know, you guys have to know after all this time that I'm not a big person on the history of the board and all that. I do believe in wheel bias, so I think you can judge. But for me, going back more than, say, 10 numbers, 15 numbers doesn't make sense to me, because if you're looking for patterns, because they do dealer changes and stuff like that. So it doesn't make sense to me. And I've seen patterns within the same dealer change within that time frame. So it doesn't make sense to me. But what I do like about something like this, where you're waiting for these triggers, it takes this piece out of it. So you can do that in many different ways. You can use the wheel that I was spinning the wheel to tell you, Brent, place your bet and leave this one open. You can just go static. You can play slut. You can play plague. You can play triggers. However is easiest for you, that you're just, as long as overall, I suggest you're not making a decision on your own about where you want to place it just by gut feel. That starts wearing on you. It's a lot of extra processing that your brain has to do. And if you're like me and you're 50 some plus, 53 years old, your hard drive and your RAM is pretty full and operating slowly. So we want to take as much load off of that as possible by just having a blueprint. This is what we're going to do. All right, I'll be back in just a bit. It's 2 in a dozen happens more frequently than you think. So you don't have to do a lot of waiting time most of the time. All right. And see, we're already back. Literally, it hit 25 and 34. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to cover the 25, and then we're going to cover the 19 through 22. So look at that, literally a couple spins, and we're right back at it. So I was considering just running the video and doing outside bets like we were before, but going really small, maybe just playing straight martingale with 10-cent bets, but then I can't be on the Evo table. And I've been watching the Evo table. I have far better luck for whatever reason. And again, it's a small sample size overall. I have a better, and good thing we covered the last one that hit. That rolled right out of the zero and we won. But I have better luck on the Evo French than I have on the Prague French. And when I was looking at the Prague French, it was weird. It was hitting the same dozen, but it was alternating between, and again, very small sample size, but my personal experience is I have not had good luck on the Prague. And this has a 50-cent minimum bet. So that's why I didn't want to run the video and do something in the meantime. I could have run like 2 dozens for 50 cents each for $1. That would have been okay. But anyway, we're just going to do it. I won't do this again because I know it's really choppy for you, but let's see how it works out. Oh my gosh, I barely stopped and we're here again. Last time she hit the 34.25, then hit the 26. Now she just hit the 30 again. So we have 2 in a row after these 2. And even though we won on this one, I count that. I don't count this winning one as a non and then go. If we win and the next one is still on that dozen, we'll go again. If we lose, I don't care how many times it hits that dozen, we won't bet even if it's 2 in a row. And to reiterate, I'm usually 2 to 3 days ahead of you guys. So, yes, that's why I just been noticing on the server, when it tends to repeat, it tends to hit that same street. again, very, very small sample size. So let's see how long it takes before I actually have to unpause the recording software and be back here again. Okay. Okay, we're back. And hit twice. Seems like that third dozen is where we're hitting double tapping all the time. And I'm out of breath because I'm watching this and then I'm like, okay, I can go and keep cleaning house and picking up and doing other things. And I'm watching the 49ers game because it's Sunday right now, right? I'm a couple days ahead of you guys. So by the time you see us, but I was finishing watching the Bills game, go Bills, and I'm watching the 49ers Eagles game right now. Boom. There's another win there. So there we are. We are up 30 in 8 spins. And had we been just betting and leaving the 1-4 double street open, we would have the exact same record as we would right now. That's why I'm super interested in having someone who puts a lot of faith and think the triggers, these spreadsheets or these tracker tools, they think those are better. I really, really invite you. Come on, let's live stream. We'll go head to head. I don't really see it as a challenge, you against me, okay? So let's just put that to rest right there. I look at it more as, while I'm talking to you, we already hit another. Okay, so we're going to go 3 units here. Now, this is where we got whacked last time when we were covering the first dozen on 7-10. This would be fascinating if she hits a 1 through 6 again. Okay, so I'm keeping track of our win-loss record, and we have exactly the same record. Anyway, I don't really want to see it as you against me unless you're just, you're so adamant and you'll certainly kick my butt. I'm willing to put a little bit of a wager on it. I want it more so that the community and everybody can see how things work. OMG! Again, she tags us in the same place on the same. All right, now we got to wait for a couple spins. We got to wait. We cannot do, it doesn't matter how many times in a row it hits the first dozen. We will not wager. We have to wait till it at least leaves the first dozen. If it comes back, and then we'll go it again. But anyway, I want it so the community can see how does this stack up. And right now, well, it has 2 losses. We have 3 because of my misbet. But we have the exact same ratios right now. And I'm of the opinion that, it doesn't really matter how you play it. It's literally the luck of the day and the session that you're at the table right now. So let's hope that we can recover with this because we're going to go 3x. All right. Cheers. Okay, here we go on the third dozen again. It hit a 28, then a 30. So we're going to cover here and we're going to cover here. We have our 31 through 36 open and the 0 open. I've been thinking a lot about the whole plan and stuff. And one of my commitments to you is to try to not leave things ambiguous and make it as detailed and literally paint by numbers as possible, okay? It's a little tough with gambling because everybody's situation is different and everybody has a different risk tolerance, but I'm going to try to start laying things out when I get to the point to unveil our life goal here. And again, it hits on that. It repeated on that street again. So, oh shoot, we were supposed to do a 3x, weren't we? Man, we just missed an opportunity there. I forgot we had lost. We were on such a roll. Anyway, I'm going to try not to be I personally, I'm a very listy person. And when someone gives me instructions, I really want it to be on point. I want to say, do A, then do B, then do C. It drives me nuts, as I told you before, when people come into our Discord server and say, I have a strategy, and then they sort of give you this sort of convoluted instructions, or I see it all the time. You go to websites and they're like, we're going to tell you the best stock picks. And basically what they give you is buy low and sell high. Okay, what? So in thinking of that, I'm really going to try to define the minimum levels I think that you would need, and then you can adjust on your own. But I'm going to give you what I do. For example, your loss limit. Some people have a 5% of their bankroll as a loss limit. Some people have a 10%. I've never really percentaged mine. I always just kind of go off of, in my head, what I feel is a good one, like today, 125. But I'm going to try very, very hard to put those numbers down concrete so you have an exact blueprint of how to go forward, and then you can make your adjustments, okay? So that's my commitment to you, to try to make every single thing paint by numbers exact. Here's the base starting point, and then you can take those and adjust those as you see fit. All right, we'll be back after my mistake again. That's 3 for this session. Okay, we're back. I did miss an opportunity. You see there's an 8 and a 6 down there. And I was out running around outside of this room here, cleaning the downstairs family room and stuff. And when I get back, I see an 8 there, and I'm like, oh, dang, I missed an opportunity. So we're going to double up this bet. I forgot we're supposed to be doing triples. But if I win this one plus the one that I only bet 1 unit bets on is going to equal one of the bets, which kind of sucks because part of what I like when I'm betting high coverage is I'd rather go in on your recovery and make it as quick as possible. And so I have messed that up. Now it's going to be taking us 3 spins. We would have already been recovered by now if I had been on the ball, but that's okay. That's how it goes. And again, I realize that this video may end up looking really super choppy and discombobulated. So I won't do this again unless I get a ton of feedback from you saying, this was so great. We got to see a lot more results and a lot less of you yapping and doing your word salad that you're famous for. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, just so you know, it hit twice down here, but we have a dealer change. So I forgot to mention that. If we have a dealer change while we're in the middle like this and we get a streak, because this was a walk-off spin right here, we're not going to bet. So this is a perfect time for me to take, because I was going to take a 10 or 15 minute break once we got caught up, because even though I'm not betting every single round, I'm having to run back to my desk like every 30 seconds. So I'm going to take a break right now. We're going to let her spin some out, maybe 10 spins or so, and we'll come back and we'll resume. Okay, we are finally back. I took about a 20-minute break, and we have this one open again. This has been our Achilles heels. So we have a 3x to go. Yeah, I was taking a little break because with new dealer change, and then you know how sometimes you have this little task to do, but somehow you always keep pushing it off, and then like 50 years later, you do it. It takes like 5 minutes. You're like, why didn't I do that? When my daughter, she painted the entire downstairs, and there was an air intake vent cover for the furnace. Yes, we broke the curse right there. We broke the curse right there. Let's see if it hits a double. Anyway, we had this air intake that she took off and set it on the mantle by the gas fireplace and never painted that for some reason. And it had been sitting there long after we got all the new carpet and everything down here refreshed. It's been sitting there forever. And so I took a break and went, let's go clean that and let's paint it white so it matches the trim and everything. So I got my first coat of paint on there. After all these months, this vent cover will not be sitting on my mantle. Okay, look at that. All right, we've got 2 in a row here. We're going to go back in with base units, which is good, right? Because we only have 2 bullets. We're going to go there and we're going to go here. So we were 1 spin away. Look at that. That's been danger zone for us. Okay, so far we have the exact same record. We would be 14-2 here if I didn't screw up. We're 14-2 if we had just left the 1-4 open. So now if it hits the 1-4, we will have 1 extra win than we would have, because right now the 1-4 is open in our simulated 1. Boom. All right, we got it. We got it. So far, so good. All right, back to going and picking up and seeing what other little tidbits I can get done around here while I'm waiting. All right, be back. Okay, we're back in action. It hit a 36 and then a 35. So 3 units on low. We're going to cover the last one that hit, and we're going to cover this one. All right, let's keep going. So we have 17 spins into this thing. So if we had been playing 17 spins straight through, right, we would only be somewhere around 12 minutes maybe. So the play that we're doing here is roughly 12 minutes, and we're up $40 in 12 minutes. So not bad at all. And our 5% target would be $34. Okay. Our target would be $34. Not to say we only need 2 whacks and we're out of this thing, right? So I'm not trying to say that this is it's any safer. Remember, not safe. I don't believe in the term safe for gambling. Okay, safer, yes, but so far, one of the things, and I know mathematically it doesn't work out, and I know this and that, I get it, but there's something about coming in and this isn't the first time I've tried it, not this particular way, but come in, one spin, leave. Come in, one spin, and leave. That being said, I've also had it where I've come in with one big bet, say a $200,000 bet or whatnot, and gotten whacked. Oh, we got two there. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 1. Here we go, because it hit 20, then 22. So we're going to have this one covered, and we're leaving this one in the double street open. After this spin, I'll tell you what, let's go take a look at one of those big spins. I only recorded a couple on New Year's Eve. The majority, pretty much they're all losses, but let me show you this big bet, and let's see what happens right after the spin. Yes, I'm glad we covered that one. Look at that. We got away. Now I'm going to stay here because if it hits the second dozen again, we will rebet. So let's stay right here and see what that is. And then when we're done with this, if it doesn't rebet, we'll cut over and go take a look at, like I said, I only recorded like 2 spins because I got my arse kicked. And I'm like, I'm not going to record the rest of these. This sucks. So anyway, all right, come on. Yes, there we go. Okay, take a look at the spin and we'll be back when the next spin's ready. All right, enjoy. All right, here we go, folks. We're going in again. We weren't able to get the $200,000 in, but we got $160,000 in. Cross our fingers here. If we get this one, this will be the end of it. And we lost. Fuck me. Okay, how about that bet? Oof. All right, we got a 35-36 here. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to cover that one, and we're going to cover this one. That, man, that's brutal. That's brutal. $160,000. Oof, on that one spin alone. That sort of guts me. That gives me the sort of that PTSD again, just even thinking about it. Oh, boom. And it's a good thing we covered that last one that hit. I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, when I was watching this table and I was watching the Prague French, I just noticed, and like I said, it's just could be complete coincidence the times I were watching it, I have been watching it, that it tends to repeat not just that dozen, but when it does repeat that dozen, it's repeating that same double street. So that's why I opted to go with covering the one that just hit versus I was almost thinking when I was just thinking of this of going, we'll cover the one that hasn't hit, right? Because but no, after watching it now on the Prague server, it was all over the place. It would repeat a lot and it would cover this one or that one or this one or that one. All right. Guess we got a little bit of waiting again, and I'll be back on the next repeater. Okay, we're back. It hit 28, then it hit 31. So let's go. 1, 2, 3. 1 unit here, and we're going to cover. I'd have to go back and look at the history, but I could swear that the majority of our play has been on this third dozen for repeating. I don't know. And then I'll tell you what, after this, I'll show you one more of these large big bet spins. And then I'm putting this all behind. Well, I've already put it behind me, but I've been meaning to show you guys because I've always said I'm not afraid to show you guys my losses. And that was a huge loss, right? And I've shown you big bet losses before as well. Yes, look at this. We are at $60 with this right now. And what I like most about this is we're pretty much already have our stop loss limited at $100, right? 25 for this bet. We 3x it. That's 75. Total of $100. I did give myself 125, but then I changed course. Remember, have your exit strategy, know your plan, and then really grain it in. Like Mike Tyson says, right? Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face. So you really need to go over that plan in your head over and over and over. And we're on the dance floor already because this is the advantage of me yapping so much, right? Hit the 13. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to cover this and leave the other ones open. So if you remember, I talked to you a while back about sort of my experiences with training people and nutrition and working out, that if you don't make a 100% solid commitment in your head that you will or won't do something, if it's, yeah, let's do that, but it's not, you most likely you'll break it. So make sure that you commit when you start your session that you're going to do A, B, C. And that includes how you're going to play. Yes. How you're going to play, etc., what you're going to do, what your exit strategy is. Have that all mapped out ahead of time. Reduce the amount of decisions going on up here, and you'll be happier. You'll be less stressful. And I think you'll be more successful in the end. Okay, we'll be back. All right, fools, here we are. We're going to place the biggest bet I have ever made, which is a $200,000 bet. Here it is, $200,000 bet, all on one spin. This is the biggest bet I've ever had. I actually started out with a $200,000 balance, and you can see as I was saving my bets, I accidentally clicked on one of my saved bets. You can see there's a 7,495. Yes! $200,000 bet, $40,000 right there. Oh, baby, $200,000 bet. Woo! And we're not done. We're not done. I'm going to come back. We're going to do a couple more of these. I want to do 3 of these bad boys, but I'm not going to do them all in a row. My heart is through my chest right now. All right, I'll be back. Hey, it didn't take us long to come back and look at it. I think it's going to be the same exact bet. Nope, it's not. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. And then it was same as maybe 2 bets ago. Anyway, it hit 17. So we're covering 1 through 18. We're leaving 19 through 24 open. And we are going to do that. Okay, so sorry, I didn't show you that other spin. So after this spin, I will show you the, and she does whack us. You know, considering how many spins we've had, this has been pretty darn phenomenal. I mean, we're actually 20-3. That's really, really good. So let's take this moment. Here is another one of those spins from New Year's Eve. Enjoy. Okay, took a little bit of break, let this dealer have some stuff. It looks like he did some nice repeating, so we're going to go 28 this time. And that, if you look back at the history here, you can see that above me, after we left, I think it was the 6 maybe, I'm not sure, maybe it was further back, but you can see 6-6. We would have covered that and left the 7 through 12 open. We would have won. Then he hit 30, 36. We would have covered the 30, what we're covering right now, the 28. Oh, we're covering wrong. I did the 28 through 33 instead of the 25 through 28. Another mistake. And it doesn't come back to beat us. Yes. Oh, did we lose something? And man, I am really out of it. I'm really out of it. That's the problem with me coming and going. I'm not paying attention because I'm doing projects. I got a cat hammock, right? One of those ones that suction cup to the window and the cats can get up there and sleep in it. One of the older ones I have has suction cups at the base and then strings that suction cup. I don't like those. My new ones, this suction cup and the hammock folds up with no rope holding the top part. Well, the suction cups at the base broke. So I bought some new ones, but they're not the same. So I have got to use some finagling to get those to connect to the frame so they can connect to the window. So I'm out in the shop getting wire and all this kind of stuff. And then I come in here and I blow it. All right, let's see what we can do. Now we got to go 3x again. Okay. Okay, here we are. He hit 25 and 32. So we're back at it, except it's supposed to go here. Double it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Now, that being said, we were up here. Our high was $65. That's well over. That's getting very close to 2x. That's getting close to 10%. So definitely I would recommend at that point, either you lower your bet down to 10-cent units or even 50-cent units, something extremely much lower to preserve that. In this case, I want to keep going because, okay, that's it. We are ending this. I was hoping that we were going to have a fairy tale ending. And by the way, this dealer, I normally do not play with this dealer. I do not do well with him, and I'm not blaming it on that. But overall, we went 21-5, or yeah, 21-4 actually, 21-4. That's right at the 5-on-1 ratio, slightly better. Had we been playing 1 through 6, we would have done even better. We would not have lost the ones that we lost down here. So we would actually have done better just leaving the 1 through 4 open on this session, okay? On this session. So, you know, the tracking tools, all that's great. How you're going to play it, it's all that great. But at the end of the day, I still contend that you'll do just as well overall if you were to do the same thing we were doing, but you just pick a double street, you leave, you come back, you make a bet, you leave, you come back, you make a bet, whatever frequency you want. I think you'll do it. I do like the concept. We are ending down $30 today, so that kind of sucks. You know, would have been nice. But again, if this is you and you're up, even up around the $40, $35 mark, and you want to keep betting, remember we talked about this, lower your bets way down and keep having fun and enjoying it and build your bankroll. It'll keep going smaller. But if you do get that 1 or 2 losses, it really isn't going to do what it did here for us today, which is take me down another $30. So that's it for today. And we'll be back stronger than ever. I like the idea here. And I may do another session doing this, not in this manner, but we may do another session with something similar. All right. Be good humans. Us against the casino. Remember, get your mind right, get your strategy in place, and stick to it. Have that exit plan, have that everything mapped out before you even start playing that first spin. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.